Hello, hello. Hope you guys are doing great. My name is Danae Wolf. If you're new here, I am a financial clarity coach and a profit strategist, which means that I help entrepreneurs like you increase your profits and decrease your stress by taking control of the money in your business and stop allowing it to control you. I really believe that if you don't know what's going on in your bank account, you don't know what's going on in your business. So, my goal on my tiny corner of the internet here is to really help you guys understand how to take control of the money in your business so that it can lead to increased profits. Because we all got into this entrepreneurial game to make money. So we want to be intentional about the way that we do it. So today we are going to be doing a training on how to store receipts. And I love this topic because I think what's really great about the entrepreneurial community is that we all know we're supposed to save receipts. And I think we all know the skeleton in our closet is that most of us have shoeboxes full of receipts hanging out in our closet. And I have literally, if some of you hear me say that and go, come on, who really has shoeboxes? Guys, I can tell you as an accountant, I've seen a million shoeboxes full of receipts. So it's not just something that people say like, oh, shoebox full of receipts. It's legit. It's real. People really, really do that. So if I said shoebox full of receipts and you thought, yeah, that's me, this is the training for you. So the first thing before I show you guys how to really improve your receipt process, because I've got a really killer system that I'm excited to show you guys. But before we even get into how to store receipts, I want to talk more about the why we store receipts. So something that I want you guys to understand is that the IRS actually has specific guidelines, because a lot of times people will say, oh, I know I'm supposed to save receipts, but they don't really know why or for how long. So what I want you to know is that the actual rule from the IRS is that you should be keeping receipts for anything that you are claiming as a business deduction. In other words, anything that you are claiming as a business expense, you must keep the receipts for 3 years after you file that tax return if the company was profitable. So let's break this down. Let's say you file your taxes and your business showed a profit. Anything that you claimed as a business expense, you should be keeping the receipts for 3 years because the business was profitable. Now, if you file your tax return and you claimed a loss, okay, you did not claim a profitable business, you have to keep those receipts for 7 years. So worst case scenario, you have to keep receipts for 7 years. Best case scenario is your business is profitable and you only have to keep them for 3 years. Now, let's say you haven't been filing your tax returns. Okay. First of all, okay, please get on it. Please file your tax returns. Shoot me a DM. I'm happy to help you with it. But I know there's plenty of entrepreneurs who tell me, hey, I haven't filed a tax return in years. If that is you, the IRS has a guideline and it says you need to keep those receipts indefinitely because you have not filed. So you cannot throw them out. You have to keep all of your receipts. Now, the next question that I get asked is, okay, so why do I need to keep the receipts? The IRS wants me to keep them, whether it's 3 years, 7 years, indefinitely. Who am I ever giving these receipts to, right? That's a question I get asked a lot. And here's what I want you guys to understand about this quote unquote rule of saving our receipts. This is a huge if, okay? We keep it in case we get audited. So if you were to get audited, you need to have the receipts because that's the IRS rule. And you can kind of think of it almost as insurance, right? Hopefully we're never going to need it, but we all pay for insurance to make sure we're covered. The receipt capture is the same thing, okay? If you get audited, and this is what I tell people all the time. For me, if you guys are following me, you know I believe in compliance, okay? I'm not the person who's going to sit here and give you this outside of the box loophole thought to pull one over on Uncle Sam. Nope. That's not my thing. So I believe you do everything by the book. But all the people who are not doing things by the book, they're doing it because they know you're only going to be held accountable if you get audited. So a lot of people fly under the radar. All right. So is it the end of the world if you lost that receipt at Staples? It's not the end of the world because number one, chances are you're not going to get audited. Number two, if you go through an audit, they're probably going to take your word for it that a line item on your bank statement that says Staples was in fact a business expense, right? But you always want to err on the side of caution, right? So chances are you're going to go through your entire life and you are never going to be audited. But in case you are, you want to make sure that you were compliant. And like I said, just think about it as insurance. Hopefully you never crash your car. But if you do, you're going to be pretty darn thankful that you had that insurance. So that's how we really want to look at it. So I just really wanted to start with that, kind of give you guys the basics, because what I try to do whenever I'm doing one of these trainings, I want you guys to kind of understand the more high level why, right? So why do we save receipts? In case we get audited, because the IRS does require it. Okay, so what are the specific IRS requirements? Well, if your company was profitable, you need to save the receipts for 3 years since the date of filing the tax return. If you showed a loss, you're going to keep it for 7 years since the date of filing the tax return. And if you're not filing your taxes, you need to keep the receipts indefinitely. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about how we can bring you guys into the 21st century, okay? Because I have seen too many shoeboxes full of receipts. I've seen Ziploc bags full of receipts. I have literally seen like grocery shopping bags full of receipts, okay? And you're better than that. You are better than that. And we need to clean out your closet and get this stuff legit. And I'm a huge, huge fan of QuickBooks Online. I do a lot of trainings on it. You guys have heard me talk about it. It is my number one favorite accounting software. And one of the things I love about it is how easy they make receipt management. Now, before we dive into the behind the scenes, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So if you guys are listening to this on my podcast, do yourself a favor and head over to the YouTube channel and definitely watch the play-by-play on the screen so you can see how to do it in QuickBooks. But listening on the audio is still going to be great for you to really understand the high level of just how kick-ass this software is and how easy it's going to make your receipt capture. But before I show you how great QuickBooks Online is, at minimum, guys, the high-level message of today is we don't need to keep paper receipts, okay? They're going to clutter everything up. And I just taken this a step further, sounding a little frou-frou, but to me, if you are cluttered, right? If everything around you is cluttered, your brain is cluttered, you're foggy, you're not bringing your A game. Like, let's keep, not to get all Marie Kondo, but like, I swear there's a link with that, right? We can't live in chaos. Our minds are chaos. Our businesses are going to be chaos, all right? We want everything nice and organized. It helps you think better. You're going to be more clearly see everything better. So we want to move to a digital system for our receipts. Now, if you are like, hey, paper is my jam, I don't want to deal with anything with technology, then all I'm going to say to you is please create a system. And I can tell you, I've had more old school clients who totally don't want to deal with anything digital. And what we set up with them is an actual system. So what we'll do is buy those like little storage bins, like file bins at Staples, put in a folder, like a drop-down folder for each month of the year, throw all the receipts in there. So now at least they're separated by month. I don't love that process, but I get it. Some of you are old school. You are no matter what I say, you're not going to be comfortable throwing that receipt in the trash. You want the paper. Get the file bins, separate them by month, and boom, boom, boom. Put them all there, store them. So at least now if you did have to pull a receipt, you're like, hey, that happened in August. Here's all my receipts for August. All right. So that's what I recommend, is doing a file box with drop-down folders and store all of your receipts in there. Now, those of you who are ready to toss the paper, all right, at minimum, take a picture of the receipt right from your phone. You guys all have a smartphone, I'm sure. It's probably where you're watching this video right now. Take a picture and you can load it right into Google Drive. Right into Google Drive. That's it. Take the picture, put it into Google Drive. All you have to do. You could even take a picture. You can set up your phone to automatically back up pictures into Google Photos. Now you could create albums in Google Photos and all of your receipts are in there. But we're moving to a system where we're taking a picture and getting it digitally organized. All right. That's the high level point. So if you don't want to deal with QuickBooks, take a picture on your smartphone, load it into Google Drive. You can load it into Dropbox, or you could even set up the workflow where Google Photos automatically backs up your photos. Now it lives in Google Photos. Log on to Google Photos on your computer, create different albums, however you want to organize your receipts. I usually do by month and year. Boom, you're done. Now, those of you ready to get really organized, let's look at QuickBooks Online. All right. But I wanted to acknowledge those of you who are like, hey, I don't use QuickBooks, or I'm never going to go digital. I want to hold paper. So those are your options. But for the rest of you, let's talk about QuickBooks Online. So what's really incredible with QuickBooks Online is when you log in and you go over here and you go to the banking section and then you select receipts. What they give you is multiple options. Now, this is a demo account right now, so just always like to throw that out there. I don't want you to think I'm sharing, one of my clients' QuickBooks Online files. This is a demo account, so it's meant for demonstrations. So in this receipts tab, QuickBooks is going to give you several options for receipt management. All right. So the first thing we've got here is we can upload from our computer. So what you're able to do is one way or the other, get your receipts onto your computer. So whether you got an email and you downloaded the receipt or you emailed yourself, however you did it, receipt on your computer, boom, we're going to load it right in here. All right. Other option, they connect with Google Drive. So those of you that I said, if you're not ready to deal with QuickBooks and you just want to do Google Drive, well, when you sort of progress in business, you start to scale and you are ready to switch to QuickBooks Online, then what I'm going to have you do is connect to that Google Drive and boom, you're going to be able to get everything into QuickBooks Online. So it's another really great feature. A lot of times I'll have clients who have a team, and when they're trying to get the receipts that their team members are storing, they'll use this Google Drive connection. Third option from QuickBooks, you can create right here. It says there's an error because this is a demo account, but what it gives you the opportunity to do is create a special email address that you can email your receipts to. And what it'll do is automatically put the receipts right into QuickBooks. So we've got three options to recap. QuickBooks Online will allow you to upload a receipt that is saved on your computer. QuickBooks Online will allow you to upload a receipt directly from your Google Drive. And QuickBooks Online will allow you to create a special email address that you can send receipts to, and it will automatically appear in QuickBooks Online. So let's talk about how we could sort of live through this in everyday life. So let's say you go out, you run to Staples, you buy ink, you're going to grab your phone, you're going to snap a picture of that, and you are going to go right to the QuickBooks Online app on your phone, head to the receipt section, and load it in. Boom, you're done. Your receipt is stored. That receipt can go right in the trash. Or let's say you go to a store and they say, we can email you your receipt. Give them the email address that you create, the specialized receipt email address that you created in QuickBooks. Boom, the receipt's right there. Or let's say that you've got, you don't have that much time, right? And you leave the store, you go ahead, throw that receipt in your purse, but get it on your calendar to say, hey, once a week, I go through that pile of receipts. right? Because I don't want you to think, oh, I'm rushing out of the store. I'm not going to be able to do it, right in that moment. Don't worry about it. My point is create a system, create a process. All right. You guys have been, if you're watching this video, you guys have been in this entrepreneurial game enough to know that you need systems in your business. Okay. Everything needs a system. Everything needs a process, even the way in which we handle our receipts. So I have a client that I can tell you Friday is her finance day. It's just Friday finance. She saves those receipts all week long. On Friday, she gets them uploaded. So pick what works for you. Okay. QuickBooks is saying to you, you can upload from your computer, upload from your Google Drive, or you can email it in. Doesn't get much easier than that. And here is what's really, really incredible about QuickBooks. Okay. And this is really why I'm a huge fan of their system. And I'm going to try to see if I can get an example. But it hasn't, because it's a demo account, it hasn't been letting me. But what I want to be able to articulate, and unfortunately I haven't been able to get it to work because it's a demo account and I don't want it for confidentiality reasons, obviously take you into a client's account. But what's going to happen is once you get the receipt loaded in, all right, what's really great is QuickBooks is going to be able to find that transaction. So the receipt would be right here. And let's say you loaded a $5 receipt from Office Depot, right? QuickBooks is going to find that transaction in your bank account. Because if you've connected your bank account to QuickBooks, in your bank feeds right here, you're going to have all of your transactions. And QuickBooks is sophisticated enough to say, hey, I've got a receipt for $5 on March 5th to Office Depot. Here's the bank transaction for $5 on March 5th to Office Depot. That's a match. And what'll happen is once you match it, now that transaction sitting on your profit and loss has the receipt attached. And this is how we get audit-proof books. Because now let's say you get audited, you're not giving the IRS, team member a shoebox full of receipts. You're just giving them access to QuickBooks Online. And when they click each transaction, guess what they're going to see? Boop, an image of your receipt. That is a kick-ass system. And that is why I love using this QuickBooks ability, because it's going to connect those receipts directly to the transaction. So now when you flip through your profit and loss statement, right? And let's see, you say, oh, wow, I spent $500 at Staples. What was that? Click into it. You see the receipt and you're like, oh, I bought a printer. I forgot about that, right? So it's beneficial to you so that when you're going through your records, you're like, oh, there's that receipt. And as long as you are uploading receipts for transactions that you're paying out of your business checking account and you have your business checking account connected in QuickBooks, it's always going to be able to find the match. So it's a really, really incredible program. And I think that it's going to help you get rid of all of that paper because you're able to just scan it in. And what I love about it is if you download the QuickBooks app, which you absolutely should, now you've got that access right on your phone. So it's very seamless to go in, snap a picture of that receipt, and load it right into QuickBooks Online. And then when you get back to your computer, you can go in and obviously it's not going to have come out of your bank account immediately, right? So let's kind of walk through this in real time. If at 1 o'clock you go to Staples and spend $5, you load that receipt in, by 1:05, that receipt is there, but the money hasn't come out of your bank account yet, right? So QuickBooks wouldn't be showing a match. But the next day, when you see that debit in your bank feeds in QuickBooks, now QuickBooks is going to say, here's your $5 receipt, and I just also found the transaction. You match them, and now that receipt is attached to your transaction. It's just going to make life easier. And here's the best part, guys. Now you can throw out that receipt and you don't have all of that paper hanging around. Now, if you just think this is not for you, right, and you don't want to have to deal with this in QuickBooks, go ahead and save them digitally. All right. I said that you could go ahead and put them in your Google Drive, Dropbox, wherever you guys want to put it. But I can't emphasize enough just the convenience of you being able to pull up your profit and loss statement, and it's going to show you all of your expenses. And if you're like, hey, my social media manager, why did I pay her more in February? I usually only pay her, $600 a month. Why did I pay her $1,200? Well, you can click into that transaction and find your receipt and say, oh yeah, I forgot. I asked her to do, extra stuff on Instagram, right? So it really will help you as well to be in the loop and remember things, right? Sometimes we look at a bill and we're like, oh, I don't know what that is. Well, how convenient would it be if you clicked it in QuickBooks and boom, the receipt popped up? And I think this all comes down to our mindset and our habits, right? If we are looking at this from the mindset of, this is such a pain in my ass, I can't believe I have to do it, you're not going to do it because you're going to be annoyed. But if we are looking at it from the mindset of, okay, this is something I'm doing to protect myself in case I get audited, and then we form the habit of whether it's, I take a picture on my phone, put it right into the app, or I email everything into the specialized receipt email address, right? So pick a process that's going to be easy for you to create a habit with. And I talk a lot about, I love me a good analogy. Okay. So I talk a lot about diets, right? If we create this very complicated diet that requires all these crazy recipes from specialty stores and they take 2 hours to cook, guess what? You're probably not going to follow it. But if you have a very easy diet to follow, you're more likely to stay on track. You're more than likely to create those habits. So it's the same thing with receipt management. I gave you guys several ways to do it today. There is no right or wrong. The one that works for you is what would be right here. That's what's important because we want to be consistent and we want to set ourselves up with one that we will be able to create a habit around, and it will become a part of our routine. Something that we don't think about brushing our teeth every day, right? That's such a habit. It's ingrained in us. We want to get on that level with these receipts. So I hope that this was helpful today. I hope, especially I know for me starting off as an entrepreneur, I didn't know that 3-year versus 7-year rule. So I hope that this really helped you. I hope that you guys will try it out, test it out in QuickBooks, download the app, take a couple pictures, upload it, and see what you guys think. You can always reach out to me. You can drop in the comments here any questions you have. I do my best to respond to all of them. And if you want to talk offline, go ahead and shoot me a DM. You can get me at on Instagram at the Chic CFO. And if you guys just really need more help and you're really not coming from this from a DIY perspective, we have done for you services. I've got my virtual CFO services. I'd love to talk to you more about that. And shameless plug here, reach out to me. And, maybe we'd be able to work together. If you guys enjoyed this video, please, please, please let me know in the comments. If you watched it live, go ahead and say that in the comments. If you're watching it later, write #replay. Any type of commentary left on my videos help the algorithm. So I really, really appreciate it. And if you have any entrepreneurial friends who could benefit from this training, please share it. I truly, truly I truly, truly appreciate any help you guys can give me with spreading the word about these trainings. I will talk to you guys soon.